never tell anybody to leave, but I will tell you to plan, because in your planning, you will know when to leave. You will have everything lined up so that when you leave, you will not return. And that is the object of leaving an abusive relationship, is to plan.
You may be the only person that has asked, how can I help you? Instead of, you need to leave, I don't know why you're still there, you picked her, I don't see what's the problem, you've been there that long, you and your children need to leave. You sound just like an abuser.
The next steps are to start talking about action steps for victims, as well as changing the narrative from asking victims, why do you stay? And start asking the abuser, why do you abuse? It's time to change the narrative. When we ask a victim, why do you stay? What you're doing is you're putting the total responsibility of the abusive relationship onto the victim. It's not the victim's fault, whether it's a man or a woman. It's never the victim's fault. It is always and always the abuser. We've come to a space now where we're starting to rescue the abuser. Because when you ask a question, why do you stay? You're not even thinking about the abuser. You're just believing that if the victim leaves, then the abuse will be over. That is so far from the truth, because up to 75% of victims who try to leave an abusive relationship are hurt or killed. That's where the stalking comes in at. Now you've gone on with your life and you look down the street or you see somebody cyber bullying you on your social media, your phone is continuously ringing. You got to change your number. And these are offenses. Yes, they are offenses that police do not respond to.
I'm still trying to process that 75% staggering number.
Who tried to leave? I left. What happened?
Wow.
2 years later, I was running for my life for 2 years. Changed my name, changed my clothes, hiding in a shelter. Yes, he took the children, took them out of the country, and I'm hiding for 2 years.
You know, I think most people may not realize that your children were taken from you.
No, they don't.
And out of the country for how long? 18 months or so?
18 months. The only thing that people know, or that the media really focus on, is these were the DC snipers. They killed all these innocent people, which is a tragedy. Yes, it is, but they don't want to go to the root. And the root is domestic abuse and child custody. That's the root of the DC sniper. I left, came over here because my mom was sick. I left Washington State in 2001. It took him a year to find me in the Maryland area. And he came over this way, found me, and started killing people around me, because what he was doing, the theory was he was killing innocent people to cover up my murder so he could come in as the grieving father and get custody of our children. That's the part the masses don't know. That's why all of that happened. It was to create a diversion. So when he came in as the grieving father, y'all probably would have given him the Father of the Year award, because this man is coming in, oh wow, he's taking care of his children, his ex-wife or his wife is dead, and what, 2 Caucasians in a white box truck? That was the profile. Clearly he didn't fit that description, but he would have gotten away with it. And the $100,000 compensation that they were given to the victims of the sniper. My children would have had access to those funds. And since he was the father and he came and got the children, then he would have had access to those funds. That's the part they don't want you to know, or they're not telling you. This year is the 20th year of that. And I will guarantee you that when they start to report this, you will not hear that part of the story.
Wow. Oh, wow. Okay, here we go. I just want to get right into it. Right into it.
Okay.
I got questions coming in from the chat.
Really?
And I'm going to ask some of those questions.
Okay.
Questions that are coming in on my line here. And one of the questions is, I'm sure you've heard before, but I think it bears repeating.
Okay.
Why do victims return to the abuser?
When a victim finally has the courage, the resources, finances, and the help people to leave an abusive relationship, most times the place that they've gone or the people who stepped up to help stop helping. The victim has no one else to call upon. The resources have run out. I'm not gonna be homeless. I have children with me. I'm not. So if it means that I have to go back and be physically assaulted or sexually assaulted or manipulated and gaslighted, all of these other abuses that I have to endure to ensure that my children are inside of a home, I will have to do that. It's
those
all
are the
about economics.
Those are the calculations that they have to make.
And what am I balancing this off on? I mean, who is going to? Because you give me $20 today, and I ask you for $20 next week. What you going to say? What you did with that $20 I gave you already?
Yeah.
I mean, why? I mean, I don't understand. Snap out of it. You need to go get a job. You need to go do this. You need to go do that. It's the most insensitive. Those are the most insensitive comments that you can make to a victim of domestic violence, especially when they're really trying. You don't think a victim knows that they're victims? You don't think they know that? They know that. They know they're being hit. They know that the life they live in is not what they want. But nobody's offering any solutions. Nobody's offering to help me to get out, but you criticize me. I'm between a rock and a hard place. There are 10 times more shelters in this country for animals than there are for women. But women shouldn't have to go to a shelter. 10 times more. That tells you where our priorities are, right? They pass laws to make sure in a domestic violence situation, there are laws to protect animals. And the abuser will go to jail quicker if he injures or kills an animal before I am killed.
My head is about to explode.
Hurting me, killing me, hurting me, felony, get in and out of jail, set bail. To kill an animal, we're on a whole nother level now. Whole different ballgame.
My head is about to explode.
I'm sure.
I'm using the metaphor, and I'm glad we're having this conversation because I want people who are not victims, it's hard for them to understand because they're on a different street corner. And talking to you today allows them to see what it's like to be on your street corner and the street corner of victims. That's important to know. Can I back up a little bit? Oh, go ahead.
So there are many bystanders, that's what you call them, who are on the street corner. What I want them to do is not just stand on the street corner, but if you don't want to cross the street and help me, pull out your phone, take a few pictures, and call 911.
Okay.
Can you do that? Because there are many people that take videos of abuses that are happening to women, and they put them on social media so that other people can see, but nobody does anything. So can you at least, if you see it and you're recording it with another phone, or before you start recording, call 911 and have the police to come to that location so that that victim can be helped. Don't just videotape a situation and don't do anything about it. We got to get out of that, because that's what we do.
Okay. Here's another one from Southeast Washington, D.C.
Okay.
Do abusers show any potential warning signs? Duh. What are some of those signs?
There are many signs that I could say to you of what abuse looks like. But what abuse looks like to you may not look like abuse to me. It is about how you were raised. What was your household when you were growing up? Because some people's level of pain is higher than other people. So whereas I may say, well, you calling me out of my name, making me feel threatened, are signs for me. But for other people, it may be a way of life. And it's, I don't understand why you're getting all upset, because I mean, I grew up with that, right? So what are the signs? Calling you out of your name. But the first sign is a verbal assault. That's whether you are being abused emotionally or whether you are being abused physically. The first sign is a verbal assault. And based upon how I react to what you've said will let you know if you can go further. If I don't stop them at, you can't disrespect me like that, you can't call me out of my name, then they'll back up and say, okay, that's a level I can't go with her or him. Because remember, men are victims too. We don't like to talk about it. Okay.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it today.
It's changed. It used to be 95% victims are abused by men and 5% are abused by women. Now it's 85% of women are abused by men and 15% of men are abused by women. That dynamic is changing.
Wow.
So we have to talk about all of it so that everyone can truly understand that this is really getting worse. 20 years I've been doing this, it's getting worse. And
that's
we're
not
giving you all of the tools where everybody knows what domestic violence is. Everybody knows. Victims know they are victims. Abusers know they are abusers. So don't think they don't know that they're hurting the people they claim to love. They know this. Control is the big factor here.
Control. Say more about that. Please say more about that.
Because if I can control your life, because when you first meet somebody, an abuser is not going to say, yeah, so I want to get to know you better. And in getting to know you, I'm going to start to tell you what you can and cannot wear. I'm going to start to tell you where you can and cannot go. I'm going to start to let you know you can't go around your friends. You can't go around your family. I'm going to isolate you and make you feel like you're worth nothing. I'm going to take away all of your power and keep it to myself. And then once I'm done with you, I'm going to toss you to the side and go get me another supply. Abusers are not going to tell you that. Because if they told us that, because what do we say? Just be real with me. Just tell me what it is. You really think they're going to do that? It's a slow process. It's the grooming process. It's the pushing the buttons. My mother used this book when she was alive. She said, never tell everything that happened in your previous relationship to the person you're dating now. Because all you're doing is letting them know how far they can push you. Never do that. Of course, wow. I never do that. So start fresh. And what's the major question? So what happened with your ex? That's why they're an ex. You should not go into detail. Oh, they did this. They pushed me here. They did that. And so how long did you stay? Oh, I stayed for a year. Oh, okay. So all they're doing is calculating how long you will stay with them before you decide to leave. Don't give people that kind of information about you. It's none of their business.
Wow.
My previous relationships have nothing to do with you. Why you need to know all of that?
But I can imagine some people, men and women, sometimes they might be so desperate to be back in a relationship and it looks good on the outside that they figure a little sharing is not going to hurt anything. You know, he seems like he's okay, or she seems like she's the one.
You know, when you turn on a faucet, you turn it on real, you turn it on slow before and you're measuring how the water will spill out of the sink if you turn it on too fast, right?
Right.
Same way you should treat a relationship. Give information slowly to see how it's going to be digested. And once you feel secure, maybe 3, 4, 6 months down the line, you know this person going to be here, then you can give them that information. But they don't need to know all of that from the gate. We're still trying to get to know each other. We're strangers. We're trying to get to know each other. Would you want me to tell you I was sexually assaulted and all of that stuff right on day one? I want to know everything about you. Really?
I'm out.
All right, here. Bam.
I'm out.
I was in an abusive relationship. Bam. Run them away. They don't need to know all of that. Nobody needs to know all of that on day one. Not even day 30. Give it a minute.
No, I've always parsed in relationships. I've always parceled out information just little by little. And I've been accused of not giving up. Like, what are you hiding? I'm like, I'm not hiding anything, but I always operate on a need to know basis.
Correct. And nobody needs to know all of that information about you. Now, if you're looking at this person and you see that this is someone that you want to marry, then okay, you need to find out all the information you can. But nowadays, people go to Ben Verified. All I need is your name and your phone number.
And I can get a dossier for $5.
That's it. The whole rack, everything I need. Because it's so dangerous right now in dating. It's just crazy. And for a woman to tell a man, I'm not going to give you my phone number, she risks being shot, beat up, stabbed, or assaulted because I said, how dare you tell me no?
Are you serious? No? I haven't been out there in a while, so.
It's in the news. It was, this woman went out with her friends. They was just trying to give her a break. She has 3 children, single parent, just trying to have a good time. She goes out to the club. Man asks her for her number. She tells him no, pulls out a gun and shoot her in the head.
Okay. Oh my goodness.
It's getting worse.
It's getting worse. Here's
there
a
are
question.
some men that are not emotionally balanced, but there are some women too.
And I want to flip to the other side in a minute, but I want to follow up on abusers. Can abusers change for the better or be rehabilitated?
There are organizations that specialize in helping abusers to understand in practical terms what they're doing and how they're doing it. And some of them do change.
I'm going to assume it's a low percentage. Okay, however, she says.
However, the woman he was with doesn't want him. So he'll change for the next person.
Oh, okay.
Because by the time it gets to that, I'm not trying to go back to you.
Let's flip the script gender-wise. Men.
Okay. Men are afraid to tell anybody that they are victims of domestic violence. It is not.
Is this because of cultural conditioning?
Cultural conditioning.
Okay.
The man is the protector, the provider. all of that. How you gonna let that little girl beat you up?
Right.
How
And
you
then,
gonna let that woman do that to you?
your boys call you name. Oh man,
Yep.
you punk, you wussy.
Right? I think they call
You
it,
kidding me? Man,
right,
she don't weigh but $1.25.
right.
Come on.
But if you are a man that has been raised not to hit women, not to verbally assault or manipulate them, then what do? You
Wow.
do the same thing that I would tell a victim, a woman who is in that same situation. Document, document, document. Date and time. If there are people that are around, get them to write an affidavit of what you have experienced. If you're trying to get a restraining order, you need to go back 3 months, date and time and the situation, so that the court will be able to see that there is a pattern of abuse. If you tell someone, well, he did this day, and he did that day, and she did this on this day, and she did that on that day, there's no pattern here. But if when you show me, you will be able to see that it's escalating, going up. That's how you get a restraining order. I've helped several women, 2 men, to get a restraining order using that specific particular strategy. It's gotta be, you gotta go back 3 months.
All right. I've got a question here. I didn't want to go here.
Oh, let's go.
Gary asked Mildred what's her position on the Will Smith slap.
Oh my goodness. Okay. They have such a long history in the public of an unhealthy relationship.
You're being kind. I called it toxic.
I am. And toxic is another word that we use.
Let me shut up. Let me zip it, because I asked the question.
Toxic is another word. Toxic is a word that we use.
Okay.
From what I gathered, what I saw is that when Chris made the joke, Will was all in. He was laughing. He was, all in. Whatever he said, he was all in. He was all in until he looked over at Jada, and then his whole changed.
Got that side eye.
He went up. He went to do what he felt the look was about. Because the look was, you just gonna sit here and let him say that about me? You ain't gonna do nothing, right? That was the look. Everybody know that was the look.
Yes.
Whether we saw the look or not, that was the look. And with that, he went up to try to defend his woman. And now she's saying she didn't tell him to do that. Now
body language. Body language spoke volumes.
Yeah, she didn't want to marry him anyway.
Yeah, a lot of this nasty stuff is coming out
now. Now it's I gotta save myself, because you are already gone. He has all those movie deals and all that stuff has stopped. He's been his projects are canceled, all because of trying to defend. Now, there are many ways he could have handled that. He could have waited until after the show and say, hey man, don't do that about her. You already know we've had these conversations before. Why would you want to go there this time? But what I heard and read was that the joke was by the people who write the jokes for him. It wasn't his original joke. Remember, he's reading from a prompter.
Right.
You have to remember that.
Yeah.
So in remembering that, he's reading something that he doesn't think anybody's gonna be upset about. It wasn't until he looked over at Jada and saw, oh my God, it was just a joke, right? He saw her look too. And he felt Will was coming up. I mean, I thought he was just going to say, hey, man, don't do that, right? Just talk to him. But when the hand went back,
Yeah.
and then
I don't
Chris,
think
he looked confused throughout that whole, after the slap, after the award, during the award, during his presentation. He really had to come back to himself. It took a lot of strength to do that.
Oh, he
But
maintained his composure.
he
did.
did. But I
I
don't
don't
think it
think,
was necessary for
yeah,
him to do that. I don't.
I don't
But he
think he
did
would
it,
have.
and now the chips are falling everywhere.
Yeah, that calculation, if you will, that's a heavy price. I don't think
It
he
is.
would have slapped Wayne "The Rock" Johnson or anybody else that was big, or even Tiffany Haddish or Wanda Sykes. I don't think he would have slapped them.
Because then, well, now you're talking about a woman
Yeah,
delivering that joke. So it being a woman, and Jada may not have taken it that way either.
yeah, okay. All right, so
Okay.
we're
But
trying to,
that was abuse. Because that's what
oh,
we're talking about, abuse. That was
yes,
abusive behavior.
yes.
Mhm.
We're coming out of, as a nation, as a country, a world, trying to come out of COVID.
Mhm.
What impact did COVID have on domestic? Okay, I'll stop. Go ahead.
Man, Gary, the world found out that they were not prepared for the amount of women that were dying on a daily basis. There were no policies, no procedures, no strategies, nothing. Nothing. The majority of those women, of course, when whoever died during that time, they were just counted as COVID. All of them weren't COVID. Some of them were victims of domestic violence. There was one woman that was in the hospital for a week or so because she had COVID. She came home. Her husband thought that she was out cheating. He wasn't working. Finances is crazy. He killed her. They weren't ready. You had police coming on TV saying, if you are a victim of domestic violence, let us know. We will come and get you. But where are you taking me? Because the shelters were closed. You taking me to jail? Where are you taking me? So they had to give them pamphlets or just check on them to see if they were okay, which is why I wrote that book, Being Abused While Teleworking, right? Because employers and bystanders were our neighbors. Those are the bystanders now. You heard women screaming and crying, and some people didn't call the police. And again, they were dying.
Wow.
I said in the very beginning of all of this, I said, domestic violence has evolved from a worldwide epidemic to a worldwide pandemic within a pandemic, right? I wrote that
Yeah.
on my Facebook page. And that's where we still are. It's still a pandemic within a pandemic. We're still asking the same questions. Why did she stay? We're still asking the same question. What is domestic violence? What is abuse? Show me the signs. You can Google that. What are the solutions? How can I get out of this? Where
That's what I
can
want
I
to talk about.
go? Where can I go to get these resources? What are the resources? Because that's what I'm hearing. I don't have any resources. Yes, you do. What do you mean? Because it's not getting out there. I'm giving you the signs and what it is, but I'm not telling you how to get out. There's an organization called womenslaw.org. No matter what state you're in, you can get a restraining order. I'll tell you that. Womenslaw.org. Type in your state. There's an attorney that will give you a restraining order. Because the laws now, They don't have advocates in the courts to help you to write a restraining order. That means the language that you're using, you will be denied because you don't know the language to put in a restraining order. Who knows that?
Oh my
right?
goodness.
So they took the advocates out. All the ones that are in the court, they can't help you write a restraining order. They can give you the paperwork. They can help you to serve it, because they got to take that paperwork and send it to the sheriff to serve the restraining order. They can't help you write one. If you're in need of a shelter, go to the domestic violence hotline. It's 800-799-7233. 800-799-7233. That number is in Texas. They will tell you the organizations in your area. If you say, I don't want to call, I want to look it up. Okay, go to domesticshelters.org. Type in your city and state. You will get a list of resources from legal representation, shelters, organizations in your area, even organizations that will help you to house your animal. The resources are out there. You just don't know where to go to get them.
This is what I'm talking about, practical steps.
Practical steps. And if you're trying to leave, the first thing you should have, a safety plan called Planning My Escape.
Bam.
It's 8 steps. The number 8 means transformation. So you're transforming from a victim to a survivor because you said, I am taking my power back. I need to strategize on how to leave this relationship. So you get a safety plan. Please, please, please don't put on social media what you're gonna do.
Say that again. Say that again.
Don't go on social media. I got my safety plan. I'm getting ready to go. I got some money. Please, the one thing you have that surpasses everything is the element of surprise. You want to leave, say 30 days from now. You working outside the home. You take one outfit a day to your mother's house, to your friend's house, or to work. Put it in a bag. Got children, put their clothes in a bag. Go set up an account on a Walmart debit card. Go get you a second phone, a track phone. They can't track those. I'll tell you that. They can't track a track phone, right? Put you some minutes on that phone. Start putting some money, $5, $10, $15, $25, a paycheck, whatever you feel you need, right? And then when you come to the point where ready to go, tell one, we all have that one friend. I tell her or him, they got me. I already know. Tell one trusted friend. You tell more than that, it will get back to the abuser. And your element of surprise is now gone.
Because that's the one advantage that's the one advantage they have, isn't it?
Yep, everybody telling them. That's why you don't put it on social media, because you don't know if your abuser, man or woman, has planted someone to watch your social media to keep them informed of what you're doing. That's how deep this goes. Remember, we said we was gonna go down that rabbit hole, right? We're going down the rabbit hole. We're dealing with what's real. People don't want to let you, abusers do not want to let you go. They would rather kill you than for you to be with somebody else. That's a fact. So how can I leave strategically with my life? You plan to leave. And when you leave, make sure that you take everything with you so that you don't have to go back. There are many women that had to go back and lost their lives. Once you leave, whatever you don't have, buy it. Fire. I left
Wow.
my favorite coat. Get another one. Get a new favorite coat. I left my birth certificate. Order another one. It's not worth
I
your
mean,
life.
you got to really think and think strategically when you're
You
in
do.
these desperate situations.
You have to think. You have to. You don't want to think that. Oh no, she wouldn't do that. Think that. Go to the extreme with your thinking when you're trying to leave. Go to the extreme, because going to the extreme, you will plan accordingly. You will have everything in place. You will have your security. You will know. And so here's something, another thing we don't do. We don't tell other people we're victims because we're ashamed. You know, I told you this was a great guy, right? Gary, I told you, oh man is the bomb. And then I got to tell you, he was crazy as hell. And you're going to say, I thought you was a good judge of character. So you blaming me for that?
Wow.
That's what you blaming
Man.
me for that?
Oh,
I mean,
man.
what does my having a good judge of character have to do with him abusing me? Right? Is that how you see me though? I mean,
The psychology of that, how it shifted, the psychology of that. Oh my goodness, because that is not the intention, but the impact that that can have on a victim.
You blaming me? I mean, but you say you was my friend, right? And so as my friend, you don't think I'm a good judge of character because Dumbo didn't tell me that he was going to abuse me from the gate, and he subtly did this? He appeared to you to be a great guy, but then when it came to me coming out and telling you that, because see, I knew he told you he was a good guy, and I knew the only parts you saw about him was that he was a good guy. And I knew that if I told you, I have to think, is he going to believe me? But I've been his friend for years, so clearly he would believe me. Clearly, he wouldn't think that I don't know how to judge people's character. And then I
can hear it now. I can hear it now. Mildred, are you sure? Are you sure you're looking at this the right way? Because I ain't never seen him act like that.
Instant, do you know what you just did? In that instant, you took the side of the abuser.
Yes.
Yes, you did.
Yes.
Just that quick.
I know.
But you say you my friend though. You don't even know him. You only know what he showed you. But you don't know. You know me. You know I wouldn't say nothing crazy like that if it wasn't true. But do you really love me, or you just taking up for him? You just don't want to believe that he would do that, but you would believe that I would say something crazy like that about him. So you're still taking his side.
I know, girl, but I'm just saying.
You just took his side. You just took his side.
Look like he got everything. Look like he got everything.
You took his side. He may have everything, but you took his side. You say he was my friend, though.
You're right.
You say I'm your friend.
That's critical.
Or am I your friend?
That's critical.
Because you took his side.
And you know what? People do that all the time, and they have no idea that they're doing that to their friend.
And I would never say anything ever to you about it.
Why would you?
Put it in my head. I put it in my head that, oh, that's how he rolled. Oh, okay, cool. All right.
Oh my!
And then you don't hear from me no more. You don't hear from me no more. Then you call me and say, Mildred, I ain't heard from you. Oh, really? Really? That's really.
And then I'm liable to tell our other friends, you know what, Mildred, man, she tripping. Don't even.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because you fell in love with him.
Yeah,
you
she
fell
tripping.
in love with him. You fell in love.
Oh my goodness.
Because you only defend the people you love. You fell in love with him. And you left me out in the cold. And I've known you longer than you know him. And that happens in families too.
Yes.
Because the families love the abuser more than they love the victim, whether it's man or woman.
Sometimes the parents be like,
too. Yep.
Girl, are you
Why
sure
are you doing that to him? Oh, wait, what?
He got this and that, and he seemed like he's a good guy. I hope people watching this show don't attach what I'm saying that it's me.
Right.
I'm saying, you know, I'm saying this to make the
This is
point
a scenario.
of how, yes, this is a scenario of how easy and insidious this thing is and how quickly it can happen.
It can get crazy.
Because I have seen it.
Yeah,
I have seen it with my friends and family.
You love the abuser. You love the abuser.
Oh.
That is so heartbreaking when a victim comes to a family member or a friend and tell you what happened, and the first thing out of their mouth is, "Are you sure?"
Oh my goodness.
You have no, and now I have to defend what I'm saying. Why would I have to do that? But wait, what? You don't believe me? No, it's not that I don't believe you. It's just that I've never seen that side of him. And so why would you? See, the Dr. Jekyll is at home. The Dr. Hyde, H-I-D-E, is in the public. Not H-Y-D-E, H-I-D-E, because he or she is hiding in plain sight. And you don't even see it. But when I come to you, do you understand the amount of courage, the amount of shame and blame I am pushing aside to come to you to tell you what's going on, and then you're going to turn it around on me? That's why victims stay. You turned that on me? Why
you know,
but I'm not going to tell you that. Because what I tell in my presentation, I said, if you have a friend and that friend came to you and said to you, I'm a victim of domestic violence, and your first response was, but he didn't look like that. I didn't think he would do something like that. And that person never called you after. All you have to do is either text, because he probably blocked your number because they done with you. Never heard from him. Send him an email. 2 words. I'm sorry. And send it. Because that relationship is done. You took his side. That's what you took his side.
You know, the insidious, this is just so deep, because I'm going back 20, 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
I may have done that to some people. I hope I did not, but I can see where I may have said or done something like that, just being shocked, but not understanding the impact that it had on the victim, not understanding what it took and how long it took for the victim to get the courage to come and open up. And then the first thing I say is, get out of here. What? No way. I could see that how easy that happens, but not realize the damage that is done to the victim, and see where the victim would say, all right, I'm done saying anything to Gary.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you that.
Yeah.
But now I'm scared, because you know what you're going to do next? You're going to go to the abuser and say, man, guess what she said? I mean, is that real? Are you really doing that? And guess what you just did? You just put my life in jeopardy.
I know. That's why I'm wincing.
Set me up to be killed, to be beaten, because he's going to come home and say, how dare you? Say, because I did that with John. He said, you know what? They told me what you said. I'm going to fix it so that no matter who you say anything else to from this day forward, they will not believe you. And they didn't. They did not believe me. I went to many people. They said, girl, John told us you was going to come and say something stupid about him. Why would you say something like that about him? Took his side. He's a good man. He wouldn't do nothing like that. He takes care of you and your children. He provides. He does all these things. And this is what you say about him?
My head's about to explode. Seriously.
This is what you do? I mean, I don't even know what to say about that. That's poisoning the well. Nobody.
By then, you have no recourse, if any.
None.
You're
None.
done.
I'm done. So
And that's why
anything he did to me at that point was okay with them. It's okay.
It's like he racing the board.
Yep. Where I'm going. Took the children. Well, you know, at least they're with their father.
What?
At least they're with their father. Why are you tripping? Why are you tripping? Snap out of it. Go back to work.
I know you're serious. I'm trying
That's
to
what they
comprehend.
said.
I
That's
know.
what
I'm
they
trying
said.
to comprehend this.
You
I'm
can't.
trying to comprehend
can't.
this.
You cannot. You cannot. Even when they caught him, you know what they said, Gary? You know, if you would have stayed with him, he just would have killed you. If you would have stayed on the West Coast, the people on the East Coast would still be alive.
So now you're responsible.
It's all my fault. How dare you bring this drama into this quiet community? And how dare you call you and your children victims when none of you were hurt or killed? It was all my fault. The detective, he said, Miss Muhammad, you know, we asked John, why did he do that? Do you know what he said? He said, mm-mm. He said, it's Mildred's fault. He said, Miss Muhammad, what did you do? Victim blaming. Wow. What did I do? I said, I asked him for a divorce.
I'm trying. I'm trying not to cuss on camera. Good Lord. This.
It was all my fault. All I had to do was stay with him, then I'd be dead. All I had to do was stay on the West Coast, and the people on the East Coast would still be alive, but the people on the West Coast would be dead, right? All I had to do was not bring this drama into this quiet community, but I wouldn't have been able to do that anyway, because if I would have stayed with him, then I would have been dead, right? Right? Okay.
All right. I know personally that you had to work harder than anyone to bring back a sense of normalcy for your kids.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because there's some people who are watching who just want to know the story. How are the kids? How are they?
They're great. But at the time,
oh I know. but you had to, I remember you going to the library and just reading books on psychology.
I did. I got a book on counseling and learned how to counsel them myself, because I believe the counselors that we were given to go to, they wanted to be famous. You know, I helped the DC sniper's wife. I helped the children. They wanted to get on the news and say everything that they said. I said, yeah, no, y'all not gonna do that. Let me go to this library with my library card.
Yep.
And try to find some books on how I can help my children and myself in the process. That's how we got through it.
Oh,
they had to talk about their dad. They had to talk about their dad. They wanted to watch the home movies, Gary. They wanted a narrative of what was Daddy saying on here? Really? We're gonna do that? Okay. Okay. He's their dad. You may call him a monster. You can call it whatever you want to call him. But to them, it's Daddy.
It's Daddy.
It's Daddy. So I had to give them what they needed so that they could heal. Even when we went to during the execution, they wanted to go. They wanted to see him, not to the execution. They wanted to see him before he was executed. He
I remember
participate.
I remember you telling me that. Yeah.
He wouldn't put their names on the docket. Now, the day of the execution, the report was all these people were seeing him, right? And John looked at me. He said, "What's up with that, Mom?" I don't know. See, I dealt with what was real. I didn't sugarcoat nothing. I don't know. But why are we not there? Because your name's not on the docket. But what's a docket? That's the list that they put your name on as a list of guests. Your dad didn't put your name on the docket. He didn't want to see you. So they say, well, can he at least call? So I contacted his attorney. His attorney said, look, stay by the phone and I'll call before he goes into the chamber. That call never came. So when they announced that he was deceased, they all went in 3 different directions. John went in the darkest room in the house. Taliba just fell to the floor screaming uncontrollably. And Selena just sat on the sofa whimpering. So I went to John and I said, are you okay, honey? He said, I'm good, Mom. You know, when a man says I'm good, you know how many emotions are attached to I'm good.
That means I'm not good, but
right. Went to Taliba on the floor.
Yeah.
You know how when you cradle a baby, right? I picked her up and cradled her, and she looked me right in my eyes, and I knew what she was looking for. She was looking for some type of emotion that I was having because her dad was just executed. He had nothing, absolutely nothing. And she stopped crying just like that. Because when he said, you have become my enemy, and as my enemy, I will kill you. Every emotional tie I had with him severed. Because as a victim, as long as you are emotionally attached, you are more concerned with what your abuser is thinking and saying than what you need to do to get away. So I severed it. And after that, everything I was strategic because he was an 84 combat engineer. He knew how to track. He knew how to do all of that. But what I helped him to study to become a sergeant. I had that same knowledge that helped me to stay 2 steps ahead of him. So I was a soldier at that moment. And then I went to Selena, whimpering on the sofa. And I say, honey, you okay? She said, no, Mom, I'm not okay. She said, Dad tried to kill you. He wanted you dead, Mom. Do you know he tried to kill you? Yeah. Yep. Yep, I know. Then they wanted to go to the funeral. I took them to the funeral. I stayed in the car. They wanted to say their goodbyes.
Some sense of closure, I'm sure.
Yep, it was all closure. And after that, they came back and they were good. They were good.
Wow.
So we began to create our own new normal so that we could begin to or continue to be assets and not deficits to this society.
It's a remarkable story. I tell people all the time, I said, Mildred Muhammad is the strongest woman I know probably ever meet. I just tell them that. I said, because, you know, they have a little bits and pieces of the story. And I'm like,
Yeah, but you were there. You were there to help with John.
Yeah.
You and Miss Van, y'all helped me with John because John is on a whole nother level by himself. Yeah. His dad infused in him to hate me. And there was no getting around that. There was just no getting around it. I had to wait for him to grow out of it, which he did with the help of other people. Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, we're getting ready to wrap up, but how can people get in touch with you? I mean, the resources that you referenced, they're going to be at the end of the show. I'm going to post those.
Great.
But if someone wanted to get in touch with you, I know you got the website, but just
go
share.
To my website,
Share the information, MildredMuhammad.com. I'll put all those on a resource page.
And just get in contact.
Okay. Wow, Mildred, I cannot thank you enough. We may have to do a follow-up.
We're doing a 3-part series.
Oh yeah, we're doing a 3-part series. I know. We have to because my head's about to explode. Yes, because I'm going to be doing some
I know you learned
processing.
some stuff today that you didn't know. So
No, I
especially
know.
with how you come at your friends when your friends need your help. That little
Yeah,
information that you say, that's a lot of people
it,
don't know
yeah,
that. They think what they're saying is helpful. You're damaging that friendship.
yeah,
You're
that was a
damaging that.
critical learning, because I do think people have good intentions, but it's
Mhm.
intentions versus impact.
Well, you know what they say about good intentions, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead and say it. I know, but go ahead and say it.
Good intentions, or what is it, pave your way to hell, something like that.
Yeah.
So don't have good intentions. Just be more considerate of when a person tells you they are in pain, because that's what they're saying. I'm in pain. I've been traumatized. I need your help. They're not going to tell you I need your help. They're not going to say that. But what they telling, the words that they're using, if you're listening, if you're paying attention, then you will feel their
Right.
pain and you will say one question: how can I help you? That's all you need to say. You don't need them to go into their story, and after they tell you everything, then you say, I'm really sorry to hear that. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry you're going through that. And you
You
have nothing
know,
to offer me. You have
I,
nothing to say. You have no resources to give me. I just wasted my time the last hour talking to you, and that's all you can say to me is, I'm sorry to hear that. That's all you got.
when you asked that question, in my mind, I said, I would say, what can I do to help? And so
Mhm.
I feel like this hour I've gotten through.
But when you ask that question, make sure you have your boundaries in check. Understand what you will do, what you won't do, and what you can't do. Just be straight up. Hey, can I move in with you? No, you can't do that. You can't move in with me. I understand you need a place to stay, but can you help me with first month's rent? I can help you to find a resource that will help you with that. See, be straight with me. Don't tell me whatever you need, I got you. Whatever,
Ooh,
whatever. You know what whatever means to a victim? Whatever is whatever. Whatever is whatever.
I'm
See,
getting that
$2,000.
U-Haul and I'm coming over.
$2,000. I need $2,000 to move into this apartment. I ain't got that, but you said whatever. You said whatever I need. You got me. Now you backtracking? Why'd you tell me that then?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Folks, this concludes our first episode with Mildred Muhammad. Mildred, I can't thank you enough. I just can't. I can't thank you enough. I think we're doing the work for other people here as we take the conversation to a new level and make
We
it
are.
in terms of actionable.
Action
What can
plan.
you do? We're also going to talk about the books and how they can get the resource. All that's going to be on the show, at the end of the show. So thank you very much. This concludes our show. I'm Gary Johnson for Calculations, the talk show. I want to thank our special guest, Mildred Muhammad, and all the people who blew up the lines with questions. They were great questions.
We'll be
And
back.
until next time, we will see
Mhm.
you later. You'll get some information on it on Calculations, the talk show. Be kind, be safe, listen with clarity,
Absolutely.
folks.
And
Until
listen to
next
your gut.
time. Yes, I'm Gary Johnson. We're out.